Welcome back to Press
Hey,
Box. On a show today, I'm stepping in for Doug Wood. Doug, thanks, Doug, for having me today. I really appreciate this. Dr. Laurie's away. Mark's our new member of the team. He's going to be our news reporter, covering everything from the Leafs to WWE, maybe a little UFC, maybe some baseball. So why don't we do this? Why don't we hand the baton off to Mark? And Mark, you can tell us about your latest article on the Toronto Maple Leafs, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I put one out this morning covering their goaltending, talking about how it still needs to kind of be solved, even though they do have Joseph Wall, they have Anthony Stolarz, and they've got Matt Murray. So it's kind of basically just like discussing about the possibilities of what could happen, and if Wool struggles, he does have, he's got two good veterans he can kind of lean back on that have won a Stanley Cup. Obviously, Murray won two at Pittsburgh, and then Stolarz this year with the Panthers. And as well as I dug into I think Matt Murray will get in games with the Leafs here. I'm a big Matt Murray supporter. He just had double hip surgery from an interview I just saw that he did. And I think he will be a surprise for the Leafs this year if, Woll or Stolarz struggle or if one of them get hurt, as well as what's going to happen. Like, who's going to be the starter come playoff time? Will Woll surpass 40 games? It's just a lot like that. So we'll get a link into that, and you guys can read more about it.
double hip surgery? You're betting on somebody who just had double hip surgery? You
Yeah,
must really think
he
they're
did play in
talented.
3 AHL games, so he says he feels good.
Holy
So
cow.
I
Well,
think
that's the young age.
about it.
That's
Yeah.
That's amazing. You must be a talented freaking player for you to be betting on him under that situation.
Yeah, I believe, I got to be positive. And they have him on a cheap contract, so you never know what
I
happens.
think I think the Florida guy is going to be the starter. I think
It's possible.
I think he's going to start. I think he's going to. I mean, I think they're going to start Joseph Wall because they just signed him to this big contract. But I think Joseph Wall already has a health problem. I mean,
Yeah.
if he gets hurt again, he'll be done for the Leafs. But I think this young, well, not young guy, but the guy from Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it, he saved Florida's bacon last year. Like he's
He did,
he's a proven goaltender, right?
Yep. He went 16-7-2.
Yeah.
He had a good GAA and a good save percentage. And the good thing too is he's 6'6".
Oh, I didn't know that.
He could take up most of the net, which
On his
Toronto
knees.
will have better defense. Yeah. So he'll be good.
How old is
30.
he? 30. So he's still young. So that's good. Good
Yeah.
age. Good
Same
experience.
age as Murray.
I think he'll take the number one spot. I think Joseph Wall would be great. Like let Joseph Wall play 30 games, 35, and let this guy play 45 or whatever. Let's move up now. Let's move up to the fence. What do you guys think about Larson and Tanev?
Go ahead.
I like the Tanev signing. I mean, I think he'll play 4 years and they'll put him on LTIR for the next 2 to get him off the cap. That's fine with me. The contract isn't as bad as he'll make it out to be. I think Ekman Larson, I like it too. He's something that they also need. They'll finally have a shot from the point, which is what they don't have. And he's not bad defensively either. So I think they'll be a lot better defensively, especially under Craig Berube. Because he's a no-nonsense coach. He's a defensive-first coach, so I think the Leafs offense might take a step back, but the defense will be a lot better come again when playoffs, when it matters the most. What's
your take, Doug?
Well, the people you're talking about, I'm not as familiar with as I am with Craig Berube. He's closer to my age. And if I remember Craig Berube properly, he liked to go hard at things, run hard at things. Yeah, so I can see that team being very explosive this year. I just hope that their legs are strong, so they're solid on their skates, so they don't stumble. You know what I mean? Because he'll have them moving really quick. I think.
Did you play against Craig, maybe, Doug?
Yes.
You did, right? Yeah, you played against everybody. So I mean,
not everybody. Yeah, it ended at 29 for me. So
let's talk about two things, though. So let's talk about the new captaincy Austin. And yeah, let's talk about how do you think the players are going to receive Craig?
You want to go first, or you want?
Oh yeah, well, you go first. I don't know Craig personally, so you'll know more anecdotally than I do probably. So yeah, you go ahead.
I think it was the right move, Jay. I genuinely think it's the best move. As much as John Tavares is a good leader, it is time for a new voice, especially for Austin. He's a guy who shows personality, and it's something you need, especially in Toronto. I think the players are absolutely fine with it. Um, I like the way how they handle it. They handled it professionally. It wasn't a big deal. They did a good job. They did it very well how it was handled, and you could even tell during Matthews's press conference he was getting emotional. So you could tell like him playing in Toronto means a lot to him, and you could tell he wants to win. And it's something that I think a lot of Leaf fans, even like media, it's something you haven't seen in a long time. It's something you need in this city.
Do
And
you think he's going to take the C and run with it? Because I mean, I love John. You know, I think John's a super professional. I don't think John was a good captain, and it's still out for me if Austin's a good captain. I mean, just because you're the best player on the team doesn't necessarily make you see, quality, because you got to be able to step up, and you got to be the liaison between the coach, and you got to be able to, tell your teammates, hey guys, you're not pulling, like what Mark Messier. Like I remember all the stories you hear. Doug, you can probably confirm this, or it might be a lie, but Mark would go up to the guys in the dressing room and go, hey, like next period, you better step up. Like you're not stepping up. And
well, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of energy, right? And he's been doing it for a while. So, it takes, when he doesn't have to go to, another 5 meetings a week because he's working at such a high level, where in the sea, that'll give him more energy for the ice. The way he leads isn't going to change. Everybody's not going to go, well, he's not our leader anymore. I mean, that's going to continue. He's just going to support whoever's wearing it, right?
Exactly. That's all they'll do, and I think it'll be fine the way it is.
How's little Mitchie gonna play?
I think he'll have a career year because it's contract year. And as you know, guys whose contracts are up, they always play well. So who knows? Maybe come playoff time, he'll actually show up, because out of the big four, only 2 of them really show up, and that's usually Matthews and Nylander. So I think this year, this season coming up, going into the playoffs,
I wouldn't take anything away from John either. I think John is a total professional, but John is 35 now, right? And we're talking offline. Like I think John, this year coming up, I think he would be the best third center in the league.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree.
Right? And I think Domi could play number 2, but we don't have. We lost Tyler Bertuzzi. So does Nyes go up? Does Nyes go up to the first line? Who's on the first line, Mark?
So I think Nyes will be on the first line because him and Matthews have a good chemistry there. The second line, you could have Bobby McMahon there. He was doing well until he got hurt. They missed him in that Boston series.
So I would say Domi, McMahon, and Marner.
Yeah.
Or put and then. But you can't put Nylander on the third line. Like you can't.
No.
You got to put him on the first. Well, put Marner on the first line with Matthews and Nyes. Put Nylander with Domi and Bobby McMahon, and then the third and fourth line, you just do whatever.
And I mean, if you want to move things around, you can look into the trade market too. Like I think you could upgrade a better second line center than Domi. There's a couple names out there that are going around.
I love this. I love it.
Yeah. Nylander is going to score the goals. He's going to score anyways because he scores them mostly on the power play. And it doesn't matter what line you put him on. I bet you he's going to be within 10% of his production regardless of where you put him.
Right, and as you know, Doug, he can generate his own line. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah, if he wants, the other team doesn't want him to have the puck. They'd rather his line mates have the puck.
Right.
Hey guys,
I think everything will be good.
Let me step in here for a sec. Our producer says we got to take a break, and I'm going to exit the show. I just want to say thanks again, guys, for having me on.
No problem.
Our Facebook page is blowing up. So, Mark, great introduction. Great first show. Great content. I love talking Leafs. I can do this all day long. Sorry, Doug. I know you're
it's
you're
great.
an Ottawa
I
guy.
love it.
You're an
I'm here in Ottawa. Yeah. New ownership, right?
Okay, so we're going to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to remove myself. You're going to come back with Mark and Doug. Again, thanks, guys, for letting me tune in. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Jay. Good to see you, man.